Somebody the other day, right, asked me why do I like wholesaling? Why wholesaling? Why did I pick this career path? And for me, I kind of just always like this that you can really just tell my story. Got into real estate back in 2014, and I learned about residential real estate. So residential real estate is anything from 1 to 4 units. Is considered residential. Anything 5 units or up is commercial. You can even have a 4 unit with a store attached and it still would be considered residential mixed use. So when I learned about residential real estate, I learned about like buying, holding, which is obviously being like a landlord and just, purchasing a property, having a tenant in it to collect a monthly cash flow with the strategic ROI that will yield you back your money on average anywhere from, it can range from 6 years up to 12 or 13 years depending on the type of investment. That's buying and holding. And buying and flipping is when you like sort of like the TV shows that we watch, is when you go in there and you buy a distressed property or just a distressed homeowner's property, and you go in there and you rip everything out, you make everything like new, and you're able to sell it back on the market and make a profit in between. And then it was wholesaling. And wholesaling was pretty much the ability to position ourselves between sellers and buyers. And how it ultimately works is that you don't need any cash or credit to do this. So what you're doing is you're strategically going and contracting the property, so you have exclusive purchase rights to that property. So what happens is when you're working with the seller here and you're a wholesaler here and you contract that property, any buyers that's out here in the market that want that property, they cannot get through to that property without going through you, because you have the legal rights of ownership to that contract, which gives you rights to exercise what's in that contract. So in the contract, you obviously put the right to assign it, and you have either the right to purchase it or assign it. So now nobody can go through you without working with you to get the property. So I love that model, because coming from where I come from, never having no family wealth or family strategies taught into real estate investing, I thought that was the best way because it was the least risk and you can still make a nice amount of money doing it. So that was really why I picked wholesaling. So beyond that part of it, I got my first deal done. It took me about 6 months. I was sending out postcards. Actually, I was doing letters at the time. Got my first deal done. I made $12,500, and that really showed me that I can do it. Coming from a high school dropout, again, no family wealth, no education taught on this, running the streets, only knowing how to make a money the illegal way, to finally see that check, Isaac Grace Investments, for $12,500 by contracting a property from a homeowner who was looking for help and finding a buyer to buy that, and never having to own it. I didn't have to put any earnest money down. I didn't have to invest in it. I didn't lift it, my hands, hammers. I just quarterbacked it and got a nice, pretty check for it. And over the time, as I got more interested, and I just started investing in more education, more mentorship, and I started to turn it into a business, I started understanding that, the real business that you are in wholesaling, a lot of people don't even understand that. And we'll be talking about that on our webinar this Thursday at 7 p.m., how to differentiate your wholesale business and dominate your local market. So that was kind of like that aha moment that I showed myself that, I'd rather take this step. And I love the whole idea of being able to do 4 or 5 deals at an average of $8,000 to $12,000, and we make bigger checks all the time, and it's less risk in the deals. So now we're at the point where we have a wholesaling business thriving, and we want to start flipping now and start holding some things too. But just that whole feeling is great. And now to have a business behind it where I have team members around me and we are really helping homeowners out and getting real client testimonials on how we really are helping out homeowners and really just